Good evening and welcome to the Village Board meeting for the Village of Pleasantville. Today is Tuesday, October 13. As has been the case since the beginning of the pandemic, we are meeting remotely via Zoom. You can pick up the link for our Zoom meetings as well as the Zoom meetings for other boards and commissions of the Village of Pleasantville at our website, pleasantville-ny.gov. In addition to which, the recording of each of these Zoom meetings is posted on our website and available later at pctv76.org. Our next regular meeting is 2 weeks from today. I'm sorry, 2 weeks from yesterday. We're meeting Tuesday because of the holiday on the 12th. So that would be Monday, October 26th. A couple of dates to mention in the meantime. This coming Thursday, October 15 at 7:30 p.m., we had scheduled a sort of an opening clearinghouse discussion about the issue of leaf blowers. I encourage anybody who's interested in the subject of leaf blowers to weigh in at 7:30 on Thursday via Zoom. Again, the link is available off our website, pleasantville-ny.gov. So the short version of a longer story there is that we've had lots of folks comment about leaf blowers. I think the level of concern has been greater with more folks at home, a concern about noise, concern about pollution, concern about allergens and the like. As is, I'm sure, clear, there are lots of people who have differing views on this subject, and we've already received quite a bit of feedback, both pro and con, the idea of some sort of regulations on leaf blowers. Our Conservation Advisory Committee put together a rather detailed presentation which is up on our website and available for folks to look at. That's the advice that came to us from the Conservation Advisory Committee, and it included a proposed set of regulations. Recognize that those regulations were proposed to us by the CAC. The board has taken no action. There's nothing pending at the moment. We are simply using the comments and concerns of the CAC and members of the community as a fulcrum for opening this discussion more broadly and encourage folks to weigh in on it. I want to caution everybody to realize that the board is not imminently going to take any action. A number of people have asked me whether we're about to take action and they didn't even hear about it. That is not the case. And our meeting on Thursday is a first opportunity for people to be heard. I anticipate that we'll have more such meetings down the road because there is a lot of opinion on this subject. And then lastly, for folks who are so inclined, you can also send an email to leafblowers@pleasantville-ny.gov and offer a comment as well. Noreen Regan is assembling all of those and sending them all on to the board in a digest on a periodic basis. So all of that stuff will come before us. So lots to be said. I will say, certainly the comments I have gotten, a lot of people in these stressful times have been pretty stressed about the subject, both in favor and against. And if there's anything I want to assure people of, it's that we're looking to hear everybody's comments, recognizing that this is an issue that engenders a lot of difference of opinion. So that Zoom meeting is this coming Thursday, the 15th. I have a number of other announcements to make. And one of them a comment on our recent election. As most of you know, our village elections normally take place in March. Some communities have switched to a November election, in which case village elections would occur alongside all the other elections that take place. We, and as well as some other communities, have stuck with March, feeling that it provides a better opportunity for people to focus on local issues. Because of the pandemic, what would have been an election in March got postponed to June, and then what would have been an election in June was postponed to September, and the election took place on September 15th. As I think many of our watchers probably know, the two folks who had filed petitions and were on the ballot were Nicole Asquith, running for re-election, and Paul Alvarez, who was running for the first time. Both Nicole and Paul were elected, and they were so certified by the County Board of Elections, and Nicole sworn in for a second term, and Paul sworn in for his first term at our previous meeting, which was on September 29th. I just want to be clear about the sequence of events here. A few days thereafter, we received the final tallies from the County Board of Elections, which anybody can also see at the County Board of Elections website, available through westchester.gov.com. I'm going to share my screen so that you can see what those are. Have I achieved that? Nicole Asquith, 169 votes. Paul Alvarez, 282 votes. And then the remaining folks who received votes received write-in votes. Angela Vella, 114 votes. Edmund Uneland, 1 vote. Dan McPhee, 2 votes. Jason Mazzone, 2 votes. And then 6 votes that the County Board of Elections deemed to be irregular. So that information came to us for the first time a few days after our September 29th meeting. I can tell you that it came as a surprise to all of us to find that Angela Vella was running a write-in campaign. It was unknown to any of us, and I believe unknown to the community at large. The reason I bring that up now is that I think it's important for folks to realize what happened here. In part, it concerns me that a number of folks raised questions to me about whether it was necessary for them to stand in line in a public place in the time of a pandemic when we were confronting an uncontested election. And based on past experience in my many years of following village elections, I said, obviously we need some people to vote, but I understand your concern and I think it's reasonable not to vote. The message I would like to point out to all is that what happened here is that an undisclosed effort to promote another candidate could very well have resulted in an unexpected result. I certainly ratify in every respect people's right to write in candidates. What I do think is that it is important for people to realize that in this case, it was taking advantage of the fact that people assumed perhaps they didn't have to vote. So my comment to you, to the community at large, is that going forward, I think we should all make the assumption that it's not only our right, but perhaps our responsibility to vote even in circumstances where in a past world we might not have thought that necessary. So that's the extent of my comments on the subject. I think that's what is appropriate to say in this forum, perhaps more in a different forum. So if you're interested in taking a look at this, you can find it at westchester.gov.com. Bunch of other announcements to make. First and foremost, ongoing discussion of our circumstances regarding COVID. As perhaps you have read in the press, Westchester and indeed the state at large has seen a little bit of a bump, a significant bump yesterday in the rate of positivity, came up to about 2%. Today it slipped back to what, 1.5, something like that. Am I right, Eric?
1.2.
Nonetheless, obviously we're going to see some variation, but we're in a circumstance here where the number of positive results, the number of people hospitalized, the rate of positivity, both in our region and statewide, has been a matter of concern. I think not necessarily at the point of crisis, other than a few hot button zip codes, but certainly a matter for concern. I can report that today's COVID map, which I will share here, shows the rate of COVID in Westchester County. This is issued on a daily basis. You can see the village of Pleasantville, which is right here in the middle, has, as of the moment, 14 positives. That is, to my knowledge, the highest number of positives we have ever had since they started trying to assess how many out of the total positive cases we've had remain active. So again, I don't mean to alarm people to suggest that this is a crisis, but by the same token, I do mean to alarm people to remind everybody about the importance of following the proper guidelines, because as of this writing, we have more positive cases than we have had in some months. I don't think it is ascribable to any specific event or venue. What it means is that COVID is still out there. COVID is spreading, and we're at some risk of it spreading further if people don't follow the rules. You probably know, if you read the press, that Pace University had a number of positives among athletes. It went from 4 to 20 to 30 some odd. They ended up with an entire dormitory in a quarantine situation. We've had lots of discussions with our youth sports groups about the importance of wearing masks on fields. I know there has been disagreement about that by many folks, but it is our opinion that the most logical thing for all of us to do is to wear masks at all times when we cannot sustain social distancing. So the last plug on that front is for folks to make certain that they have a mask with them at all times when they're at risk of confronting someone within 6 feet or even beyond. Please, in a public setting, in stores, in delis, in the grocery store, wherever you go, wear a mask and make sure that mask covers your nose and your mouth. Anybody else have anything to add on the COVID subject? All right, the census, I believe, has been on again, off again, but in the end, by court order, was extended through the end of October. Am I right about that?
No, the Supreme Court just ruled that it can end now.
When did that happen?
This afternoon.
A few hours ago, 2 or 3 hours ago.
Okay, so here we are, the whiplash of our world. So, has it ended?
Yeah, essentially they ruled that it could end right now. It's over. Okay.
Thank you, Pleasantville, for having done a pretty good job. Sorry that some folks failed to respond. Better luck in a decade. So, couple of other points to make. Some really nice recent events. We had a ribbon cutting with the Chamber of Commerce at King's Crown Liquor, which in its new incarnation has moved around the corner and is on Washington Avenue in the new building next to the firehouse. Good luck to all of them. Nice to see both the new owners and operators, but also the Stockles at that event. Long-standing Pleasantville folks with a long-standing business. I was invited yesterday to Tompkins Avenue at the side of Holy Innocents. Holy Innocents has agreed to be the host for Gulata House, which is a not-for-profit group that does various good things around our community. But since early April, they have served just about 100,000 meals in various communities. And they work with restaurant partners and have gotten grants to pay a modest fee to restaurants, collect takeout meals, and then simply hand them out to people in need for no charge of any kind. So they were in Pleasantville yesterday handing out their 100,000th meal. That occurs on Monday at 4 o'clock on Tompkins Avenue. For folks who find themselves in fragile circumstances, it's an opportunity to get free quality food. So thank you so much for Gulata House. Anybody who's more interested in what they do can go to gulatahouse.org and find out more about it. On the recycling front, as you know, we continue with our food scraps program where you can drop stuff off on the weekend. Folks should mark their calendar for Saturday, October 31, when the county will bring its mobile shredder unit. It'll be down at our DPW yard. You can bring up to 2 boxes of household records that can be shredded. It's not for commercial purposes, just for household purposes, but a great opportunity to take advantage of this county service as it roves around. If you have stuff you want to get rid of that ought to be confidentially shredded, here's your opportunity, Saturday, October 31. Quite a bit of discussion in the community about what Halloween will look like in this pandemic world. And we recently issued a statement about that, which I will attempt to call up here. All right. just want to make sure we're all on the same page as much as we can be. Bear with me, I'll get it.
While you're doing that, Peter, I can.
I got it. Okay,
got it?
Did it. I did it. I should have done it in advance. Okay, have I shared successfully? All right, Eric, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, well, Nicole, did you have a couple words to say?
No, I just had another thing I was going to fill in with if it took a while, but go ahead.
Okay, so we've been talking internally, obviously with the board and the village staff and department heads about Halloween. We've reached out to our colleagues in other municipalities. And so we've issued this statement last week. Number one, unfortunately, probably to the surprise of no one, but this year's Ragamuffin Parade is canceled for various reasons. Obviously not a good idea to do during a pandemic, and also goes against the New York Forward COVID regulations from the state. The police department this year on Halloween will not be closing local roadways. We're doing this in an effort to avoid the large gatherings that have become, in many ways, what's so great about Halloween here, but what poses the biggest public health risk as well during the pandemic. So we will still have a considerable police presence on Halloween. We just will not be using those resources to close roads and promote large gatherings of trick-or-treating. We issued we shared the guidance issued by the CDC in terms of alternative ways to go about Halloween, and they categorize low risk, moderate risk, and high risk activities. Your traditional trick-or-treating is considered a high risk activity per the CDC. So I urge residents to check out that list for good ideas. We've also are trying to communicate to homeowners. We've received some calls from property owners who don't want to participate in any way in Halloween festivities. And so what we're recommending is that they try to mitigate the number of decorations that they have on their house or in their lawn, to dim the lights that night so that you're not attracting trick-or-treaters to your property. So the police department is aware, and we're trying to do everything we can to promote a safe environment for our residents on October 31st.
Did you have something to add to that, Nicole?
Yeah, I do actually. Somebody commented on Facebook about the police not closing off street and worrying that there would be people on the sidewalks, but I just wanted to indicate that most of the people I've talked to are really wanting to avoid a traditional trick-or-treat scenario, especially in the most crowded neighborhoods. So, for example, on Edgewood and Great Oak Lane and that whole area, the majority of houses are going to be dark, I think, on Halloween and not handing out candy. The other thing that I was going to say is that people are coming up with creative, safe ways to do Halloween. So the individual bags, for instance, if you can organize with your immediate block or your immediate neighbors or a group of friends, and you can do it in such a way that maintains social distancing, that can allow an opportunity for the kids to still have their costumes and, get some candy without, running the risks that you might otherwise run. I was also going to say something about the CAC tree planting, or did you want to pick that up?
Let me just finish one other thing, and that is that David Benjamori had a suggestion this weekend that we're talking about whether there are some ways in which the village could find some ways to make this difficult time a little more fun while loving it Halloween, and we're working on that to see if that's possible. But just to follow on to the point that Nicole made, as I think many parents of small kids know, the whole neighborhood of Grove and Edgewood and Great Oak Lane has become Halloween central in lots of really extraordinarily great ways. But the greatness of it has also attracted folks not only from all over Pleasantville, but from lots of other communities, and literally sometimes 1,000 or 2,000 kids have descended upon that neighborhood, and we simply cannot have that happen this year. It just can't be. So really looking for everybody's support in avoiding that scene. And we're going to reach out to our neighboring communities and let them know about our concerns as well. So, all right, tree planting. Nicole.
Yes. So I thought we should highlight it because it's always nice when something good happens in the middle of a pandemic.
Yes.
So I wanted to give a shout out to the Conservation Advisory Council, who has been working with the state for the past couple of years and got a grant through a program called Trees for Tribs, streamside plantings. And they got material for quite a few native shrubs and native trees that were planted over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, in Nanahagan Park. I should maybe specify where that was.
So there are some of our volunteers on the screen now.
Yeah, and in case you're wondering, so the tubes that they're in are to protect them from being eaten by deer, and also help stimulate growth in the early period. And then there's also some landscape cloth to suppress weeds. So right now they don't look like a lot, but there are all kinds of, I have a list somewhere, if I can pull it up. So smooth alder, buttonbush, silky dogwood, witch hazel, winterberry, swamp rose, elderberry, nannyberry, highbush cranberry, and river birches. So really quite a diverse, and it should add to the biodiversity of the park and be quite lovely as it grows in. So a shout out to the Conservation Advisory Council and their friends and neighbors who helped do the planting.
And this picture I pulled up is just one of many. This is by no means all the volunteers. They happen to get their moment here, but as Nicole said, shout out to everybody and Helen Muir and her tireless effort on all of our behalf. And also a shout out to this crowd for being A+ mask wearers. So.
Yes. And Lisa Brown, who I think is the one who was able to procure the grant. So
good stuff for sure. Further on in our evening, we have the authorization for me to sign the electric service agreement with Constellation, NewEnergy, and Sustainable Westchester. That is the final step in a process we committed to earlier, and that we have been a part of for some years, the Community Choice Aggregation Program. Just to remind folks, what it does is it establishes a flat rate that is the same rate every month for the life of the contract, and does not fluctuate the way electric rates normally do, higher in months where there's high demand, lower in months when there's lower demand. This year they undertook an auction format, and I can share my screen here again. What you see here is on the Sustainable Westchester website. If you go to westchesterpower.org, you can read all of the details. But the current contract, the one that's about to end, we're in the Con Edison area, was a 7.96 cents per kilowatt hour for residential 100% renewable. That is wind, solar, and hydropower. The new contract that is about to take place brings that down to 7.405 cents from 7.96. So, and likewise, there are similar modest decreases in the rates for a small commercial 100% renewable, as also for the standard supply. So here's the deal. In recent months, given the craziness of the world, the flat rates have actually been modestly higher than the standard Con Ed rates. But over the life of the contract, everybody saved a little bit of money, and they did so with most people in the 100% renewable category. I want to remind people that everybody has the right to opt out of this if they want to at any time, and you can do it very easily at westchesterpower.org. But I do think that this program has delivered not only significant savings and benefits to everybody, especially in comparison to typical rates for the 100% renewable source, but it has also, over the life of the contract, saved about 660,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide, which is the equivalent of taking 142,000 cars off the road for a year. So at any rate, that is the report, and later on our resolution number 208 addresses that. Anyone else have further announcements? All right, then I just had one more thing to say, and then we'll go to our resolutions, as well as inquire to the public if anyone would like to comment. And that is that, as some of you know who've watched our regular meetings, we and every other municipality in New York State that has a police department is required by an order from Governor Cuomo to undertake a police reform review that engages stakeholders in the community and then provides a report back to Albany by the beginning of April of next year. So we've engaged Eric Russner, our police chief, and our police force. They're totally engaged in this process as well. So what we're undertaking is looking for ways to improve not only what we do and what our policies are, but to identify ways in which we can serve the community better. And in the coming weeks, you will have an opportunity to weigh in on that in various ways. We're going to set up an email address where people can send in comments. That we'll be meeting in early November via Zoom with police stakeholder groups, but are envisioning at the moment a community meeting on Thursday, November 19, again via Zoom, and we'll send out information about that. So keep an eye on our website at pleasantville-ny.gov, and if you have not yet done it, in the left-hand column, subscribe to news, and then all of that information will land in your inbox. Look ma, no hands. So that's my report. Before we go to our resolutions, is there any comment from any member of the public on any subject? There being none, let me share my screen for the resolutions. Okay. I'm imagining if we were sitting at our table, which we're not, I think it's Paul Alvarez, number 203.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the minutes of the annual organizational meeting and regular meeting held on September 29th, 2020.
Is there a second?
Second.
As reported, there are two separate meetings took place in sequence, our organizational meeting and our regular meeting. And at the organizational meeting, as already reported, we swore in, Judge Curley had the swearing in process for Nicole Asquith for her second term, Paul Alvarez for his first term. So thank you both. Delighted to have you in Nicole's case back with us, and in Paul's case joining us. Look forward to a really productive year. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Nicole, 204.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following budget amendments for the fiscal year 2021 as listed below. Budget transfers in the general fund, $63 from admin supplies to assessor supplies, $15,000 from contingent to village hall repair and maintenance. That was my dog groaning. All right. In appropriate fund balance, water, $30,000, transmission and distribution to water main repairs outside village, $36,150 from capital to water supply communication project. And increased revenue and expenses in the general fund, $3,544. Recovery damage insurance property goes to the police vehicle repair. And an increase in revenue and expenses in the capital fund in the amount of $36,150 from interfund transfer from water fund to water supply communication project.
Is there a second?
Second.
So this second one, water main repairs outside the village, is the result of a water main break that took place within our system, where we have water customers who are outside the village of Pleasantville, and it's been an ongoing discussion about how best to manage all of that, and we have a meeting set up next week with Mount Pleasant to talk further about it. But we have the circumstance that exists somewhere elsewhere in Westchester, where our water services extend beyond the village of Pleasantville, but we're then required to capture the cost for water main repairs by the beneficiaries and not by the residents. Fair description, Eric?
Yeah, and it's actually been a series of breaks that have put us over budget in that area. Some of them were related to the tropical storm, and then the others that occurred more recently were because of old infrastructure that's under the ground there.
And then the last one, the water supply communication project, is a data link, right?
Is actually it's upgrades
or
to that. What's that?
Is the last one, the water supply communication project, the data link issue to the tanks, or is that?
Yes, yep, data and communication.
Right.
But between DPW, the tank, and the Newcastle water facility.
Right. All right. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. Approved. David, 205.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the abstract for payment of claims dated October 13th, 2020 for fiscal year ending 2021, covering check numbers 98439 to 98587 from the general fund, $314,607.51. The water fund, $175,950.07. The capital fund, $34,404.18. The refuse fund, $19,380.96. The trust fund, $1,382.50, for a total of $545,725.22.
Is there a second?
Second.
As is always the case, if you are interested in the detail on all of this, you can go to our Novus Agenda website through pleasantville-ny.gov. Click on these two hot links and you will get pages and pages and pages of detail that explain exactly how all this was spent. Comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. 206. Paul.
Now, therefore, be resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Pleasantville hereby authorizes the village clerk to notice a public hearing for Monday, October 26, 2020 at 8 p.m. via teleconference to hear comments on the Introductory Law, Local Law 5 of 2020 with regards to amending Chapter 91, Article 3 of the Code of the Village of Pleasantville concerning professional consultant fees and escrow accounts.
Is there a second?
Second.
Eric, you want to describe the proposed changes?
Sure. So this local law would amend the way that the village collects escrow fees. Right now, there's a set amount depending on the type of project. This has led us to become backlogged in our billing, escrow billing for more complicated projects that run through their mandated escrow amounts within a meeting or two. So we find ourselves constantly chasing to renew the escrow accounts for the professional fees that a project requires. So this would provide the building inspector the purview to declare a certain level of escrow that's needed depending on the complexity of the project. The minimum amount required would be $500, while the maximum amount would be $10,000.
All right, and so noticing a public hearing to discuss all of that, anyone who has any comment or interest can weigh in at that time. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Nicole, 207.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village clerk to advertise for bids for a 2-year cleaning services contract for village facilities.
Is there a second?
Second.
Self-explanatory, I dare say. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. David, 208.
Resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village mayor to sign the Community Choice Aggregation Electric Service Agreement by and between Constellation, NewEnergy Incorporated, and Sustainable Westchester for an 18-month contract commencing January 2021, and further resolves that the Village of Pleasantville has chosen 100% renewable clean power, green energy, as the default product for its residents and businesses.
Is there a second?
Second.
So, as I mentioned before, Westchester, Sustainable Westchester has gone through the bidding process and resulted in what they believe to be pretty favorable rates. I also, as I pointed out earlier, a number of people have said to me, why have you put us in this program? And the answer to that is that we think it, A, has saved folks a bit of money. B, it gives us an opportunity to use our collective buying power and that of many other communities in Westchester that are part of this to kickstart or support the private market investment in alternative energy. And lastly, it creates an opportunity for the private energy markets to bid on these services, which is what just happened a couple of weeks ago with Sustainable Westchester, as compared to the default, which is the rate that Con Edison charges. And although it might seem like the rate that Con Edison charges is also part of the free market, it is a government-managed rate. And indeed, Con Edison is not allowed to make any money on it. Con Ed is happy to have other suppliers provide the power. And regardless of what you're in, whether you're in community choice aggregation or whether your power supply comes from Con Ed or another energy supplier, the poles and wires and maintenance and billing are all Con Ed for everybody at all times. So your experience is in no way changed in that respect. If you prefer to switch to a different energy supplier or back to Con Ed, you can do so at westchesterpower.org. It is my personal advice that this has been a great program, and I am happy to be in it. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. 209. Where was it? Whose turn is it?
It's me.
No, I think I did. Oh, no.
Yes,
Me, right? Okay. Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby adopts the Village of Pleasantville's cybersecurity policy.
Is there a second?
second.
So again, in our agenda, the cybersecurity policy is attached. We've been obviously looking at that. And Eric, you want to comment at all?
Sure. So we've been working with A1, the village's IT consultant, along with O'Connor Davies, who performed the cybersecurity audit on behalf of the village. We've crafted this cybersecurity policy to mirror the findings of that and provide a blueprint for protecting our IT infrastructure.
All right. Comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. 210. Nicole?
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby adopts the Village of Pleasantville cyber breach policy, which is attached.
Second. Somebody?
Second.
Eric, anything further to say? I mean, this is the second shoe to drop here.
Right. So cyber breach policy, the state passed the SHIELDS Act, which requires businesses, governments to have a protocol for notifying customers or residents when their personal information has been compromised or breached by a cyber attack. So this lays out our protocols and procedures for that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. David, 211.
Resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby adopts the Village of Pleasantville's vehicle use policy.
Is there a second?
Second.
So again, that policy is attached and it identifies the guidelines and terms under which any employee uses a Pleasantville vehicle, whether it's assigned to them or a loan to them for a business purpose. Comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Is this the revised version? You got it in here, right, Noreen? Great.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be then Paul, number 212.
Okay. Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following mayoral trustee assignments to various boards, commissions, committees, and village departments. Beautification Committee, Benjamori. Climate Smart Task Force, Asquith. Foodchester Farm Market, Stargiotti. Conservation Advisory Board, Asquith. Clinton Street Center Senior Citizens, Benjamori. Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, Stargiotti. PCTV, Alvarez. Pedestrian and Traffic Safety Committee, Asquith. Pleasantville Housing Development Corp., Shearer. Planning Commission, Stargiotti. Pleasantville Chamber of Commerce, Shearer. Pleasantville Strong, Stargiotti. Pleasantville Fire Department, Alvarez. Pleasantville Recycles, Asquith. Pleasantville Union Free School District, Alvarez. Public Arts Committee, Shearer. Sustainable Westchester, Asquith. Mount Pleasant Library Board, Benjamori. Zoning Board of Appeals, Benjamori.
Is there a second?
Second.
So thank you all for taking on these roles, and even more importantly, thanks to all of the members of those boards and committees who serve the village in so many different ways. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Okay, that's the end of our regular agenda. Does anyone have any new business to bring up? Any comments of any kind from the public? It's a quiet group tonight. All right. So let me just end by reminding folks again about the critical importance of following social distancing and mask guidelines as we find ourselves moving into the colder weather and finding, at least for the moment, a somewhat concerning increase in cases both in Pleasantville itself and in Westchester and our region. So social distance and mask, social distance and mask, social distance and mask. That's our mantra. We will see you all again in 2 weeks. That would be Monday, October 26th. And then just to remind folks, anybody who would like to share in the conversation about leaf blowers is invited to the Zoom meeting this coming Thursday, the 15th at 7:30 p.m. The Zoom link is available on our website. Comments also available at leafblowers at pleasantville-ny.gov. But also remind everybody that it's the opening of a discussion that I think will engage a number of different sessions. And so if you're able to join us now, that's great. If you're not, there will be further opportunities. As we do with our regular board meetings, we'll record that Zoom session and make it available on our website. So anybody who would like to follow all that was said by various groups is invited to do it that way as well. So lots of ways to get the information. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you all. See you in a little less than 2 weeks on Monday the 26th.